All right, strap in, everyone, because today we are diving deep into Arthurian legend with the brand new Pendragon 6e tabletop RPG.
Oh, yeah.
We've got excerpts here from an article called Exclusive First Look, Pendragon 6e Core Books Revealed.
Nice.
And let me tell you, if you are a tabletop RPG fan,
Right.
this is going to be good.
Absolutely.
Imagine stepping back in time, not to just play a game,
Oh, wow.
but to shape the fate of Camelot.
Yeah,
That's the kind of immersive experience Pendragon 6e promises.
it does.
And we're here to break it all down for you.
That's right.
This is big
It is a big deal.
for tabletop RPG fans.
Yeah, for tabletop RPG fans, King Arthur Pendragon,
Right.
after almost 20 years,
Wow.
is back with the 6th edition.
6th edition.
Yes.
Full-fledged revival of a classic.
It is.
Now under the care of Chaosium, the new publishers.
It is.
And Chaosium has quite a legacy to live up to.
That's right.
Pendragon was the brainchild of Greg Stafford, a legendary game designer.
Yeah, he was a legend.
What's interesting to me is how Chaosium is carrying that torch forward.
I think they're doing it in some really specific ways.
Oh, yeah.
You know, he wanted to create a game that went beyond simple combat, one that really explored the complexities of knighthood, the weight of oaths, and the personal struggles of heroes.
Right.
This isn't just about hack and slash. It's about embodying the ideals of chivalry and dealing with the consequences of your choices,
Right.
both good and bad.
Okay, so really getting into like the role-playing,
Deep into the role-playing.
really embodying it.
Yeah.
They're not messing around with the release either.
No, they are not.
2 core books
Uh-huh.
are dropping simultaneously in April.
Oh, wow.
The Player's Handbook
Yeah.
and The Great Knight,
Classic.
a classic adventure module revamped for 6e.
For 6e.
That's like giving you the keys to the kingdom
That's right.
and a detailed map
I like that analogy.
all at once.
It's a good one.
I like that.
Yeah. That simultaneous release is clever. You know, new players can jump right into the action with the Grey Knight,
Right.
while also having the comprehensive player's handbook as their guide. Experienced players
Right.
will appreciate how this classic module
Yeah.
has been reimagined for 6e.
Yeah. And they're both beautifully illustrated
Oh, they are.
in full color,
A full color.
bringing the Arthurian world to life.
Absolutely.
And speaking of the Arthurian world,
Yes.
the scope of this game
I know.
is incredible.
Huge.
It covers the entire timeline of King Arthur's reign,
That's right.
from his coronation in 510 AD
Wow.
to the fall of Camelot in 566 AD.
That's a big chunk of time.
Over 5 decades
That is a lot of time.
of potential storylines,
Yeah.
political intrigues,
So much intrigue.
and epic battles.
Oh, yeah.
It's not just a single quest.
Right.
It's an entire era.
It is an era.
Wow.
And it's that long-term perspective
Right.
that sets Pendragon apart from other RPGs.
Yeah.
You're not just focused on a single character story.
You're thinking about their lineage,
Wow.
their legacy,
Mm.
and how their actions ripple through generations.
That's wild.
It is.
That brings us to one of the most intriguing aspects of Pendragon,
Okay.
the personality traits system.
Oh, yeah.
How does this system work?
Okay.
And how does it shape the gameplay?
So instead of just having numbers
Okay.
for strength or intelligence,
Mm-hmm.
your knight has paired traits
Oh, interesting.
that represent their internal struggles.
Okay.
For instance, you might be both valorous
Mm-hmm.
and reckless,
Oh.
or generous
Mhm.
and prodigal.
I see.
These traits are not just descriptive.
Okay.
They have mechanical implications.
So it's not just about what my knight can do,
Right.
but what they're compelled to do
Yes.
based on their personality.
Exactly.
That's fascinating.
It is.
What happens when these conflicting traits come into play
Okay.
during a game?
Let's say your knight is facing a challenging situation.
Perhaps a rival knight has issued a challenge,
Hmm.
or a village is being threatened by bandits.
Okay, yeah.
If your knight has the valorous trait,
Uh-huh.
you might feel compelled to intervene,
Right.
even if it's dangerous.
Right.
However,
Okay.
if they're also reckless,
Uh-huh.
you might charge into the situation without thinking,
Oh, no.
which could lead to unintended consequences.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
So, like, my personality could get me in trouble.
It could.
As my knight.
As your knight.
Wow.
It's like a built-in drama generator.
Yeah.
Your knight's personality is constantly pushing and pulling them in different directions.
Yeah.
And it sounds like those choices have real weight in the game.
They do. They do.
Yeah. Every time you act in accordance with a trait, you roll a die to see if you succeed.
Right.
So you're not guaranteed to act heroically.
Okay.
Just because you have the valorous trait.
Right.
You might succumb to fear.
Yeah.
Or temptation. And those failures can have consequences.
That's brilliant.
I know, right?
That's a brilliant way to add tension and unpredictability to the game.
Right.
It also makes your knight feel more real.
Oh, for sure.
More human.
Yeah.
They're not perfect paragons of virtue.
Yeah, they're flawed.
They're flawed individuals.
Yeah.
Struggling to do what's right.
That's right.
Just like all of us.
Exactly. And over time,
yeah,
your knight's personality evolves based on the choices they make and the experiences they have.
Right.
So you're not just playing a set of stats.
Right.
You're truly embodying a character with depth and complexity.
That sounds really cool.
It's great. It really seems like Stafford's goal was to create a game that was as much about personal growth and inner conflict as it was about external challenges.
So we've got these complex characters, this epic historical setting, and these beautifully illustrated rule books.
Oh, yeah.
What's changed in Pendragon 6e?
Well, a lot has changed,
Okay.
but some things have stayed the same.
What are some of the key updates that have been made?
One of the biggest changes
Okay.
is the shift to a D20 system.
D20.
Okay. Yeah, this will feel familiar to many RPG fans, but they've also introduced new characteristics.
Okay.
Like size, dexterity, strength, constitution.
Okay.
And even appeal.
Appeal. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, these characteristics play a crucial role in everything, from combat to social interaction.
Appeal in combat.
Yes.
That's interesting.
Well, this is the age of chivalry, remember?
Oh, right.
Knights weren't just brute warriors.
Right.
They were expected to be charismatic leaders to inspire their followers and to uphold a certain standard of courtly behavior.
That's right.
Appeal reflects those qualities.
So a knight with high appeal might be able to rally their troops during a battle?
Exactly.
Or sway a lord with their eloquence?
Yes.
It's like a social weapon.
It is like a social weapon.
Very cool.
Yeah, it adds a whole new layer of strategy to the game, both on and off the battlefield.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And I understand the rule books have been reorganized.
They have.
To make them more user-friendly.
Yes, they've moved away from one massive tome.
Oh, okay.
To separate books.
Okay.
For players, game masters, and nobles.
Interesting.
It makes finding the information you need much easier.
Right.
And it allows them to really delve into the specifics of each role.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got a D20 system, new characteristics, streamlined rule books.
That's right.
And a foundation built on Greg Stafford's vision.
That's right. His vision is still there.
But before we dive into the specifics of those updates, I think we need to talk about the other core mechanic.
Oh, yes.
That makes Pendragon so unique.
Absolutely.
The passion system.
Oh, the passion system.
What are passions? And how do they influence the game?
Right. So passions are like these driving forces within your knight. Their deepest convictions and desires. Think of them as like burning fires that fuel their actions, but also have the potential to burn out of control.
Oh.
They're organized into 4 courts, each reflecting a different aspect of the Arthurian world, and each capable of pushing your knight to great deeds or utter ruin.
Oh, wow. So they can be good?
Yes.
Or bad?
It can go either way.
4 courts of passion.
Yes.
That's a pretty evocative image.
It is.
Can you break those down for us?
Sure.
What are these courts?
Okay.
And how do they manifest in the game?
So we have Fidelitas, representing loyalty to your liege lord, your family, your oaths, the kind of loyalty that defines a true knight. Then there's fervor, a burning zeal, whether for religious faith,
a righteous cause,
or
or even vengeance. This passion can drive incredible acts of bravery, but also blind rage. Adoratio is the passion of love.
Okay.
In all its forms.
Okay.
It can be romantic love,
Right.
platonic devotion, familial bonds,
Okay.
anything that inspires the heart to act.
Right.
Finally, there's civilitas,
Okay.
the courtly passion
Right.
encompassing all the rules and
Right.
etiquette of noble society.
Yeah.
This passion is all about maintaining your reputation,
Okay.
navigating social complexities, and understanding the subtle dance
Right.
of courtly life.
Okay, so these passions aren't just flavor text.
They are not.
They actually influence how your knight interacts with the world.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
Give us an example of how a passion might play out in a game.
Okay, so let's say your knight is deeply devoted to their king, embodying the passion of fidelitas.
Right.
If the king were to call upon them to undertake a dangerous mission, that passion could give them an edge.
Okay.
Like a bonus to their roles.
Okay.
Because they're driven by unwavering loyalty.
Makes sense.
However, if that same knight were betrayed by their king, that same fidelitas could turn into a burning resentment.
Oh, wow.
Leading them down a path of vengeance.
So it could really backfire.
It could.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's like a double-edged sword.
Right.
Passions can elevate your knight.
Yeah.
But they can also lead them down a dark path.
Right, like almost an internal conflict kind of.
Exactly. It's a constant balancing act.
Right, but I'm still curious about how the D20 system interacts with all of this.
Sure.
You know, Pendragon has always been known for its unique mechanics.
Right.
How has the transition to a D20 system impacted the feel of the game?
Well, I think it's a delicate balance.
Okay.
The D20 system
makes the game more accessible to players familiar with other popular RPGs, while still retaining the core elements that make Pendragon unique.
Right.
They've kept the paired trait system, the passions, and the focus on generational play.
Right.
But they've streamlined the mechanics and made them a bit more intuitive. The D20 system handles things like skill checks, combat rolls, and trait tests.
Okay.
But the real heart of the game, the role-playing aspect, driven by traits and passions, remains very much intact.
That's good.
Yeah. It's like they've taken the best of both worlds and created something truly special.
That's great. So it should appeal,
I think so,
to both veteran Pendragon players and newcomers alike.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
It's like they've lowered the barrier to entry without sacrificing the depth and complexity that the game is known for.
Right. Now let's talk about combat.
Okay.
The source material mentions that the combat system has been revamped to be more strategic and engaging.
It is.
Can you give us some insight into how those new characteristics we talked about earlier, size, dexterity, strength, constitution, and appeal, play out in a battle?
So imagine your knight is facing a formidable opponent in a tournament. Their size and strength might give them an advantage in a direct confrontation, allowing them to overpower their foe. But if their opponent is more agile, dexterity comes into play. A nimble knight might be able to dodge blows, find openings in their opponent's defenses, and strike with precision. And remember, appeal. It's not just for social situations. A knight with high appeal might be able to unnerve their opponent, causing them to hesitate or make mistakes.
So it's not just about brute force.
No.
There's a layer of psychological warfare as well.
Absolutely.
Wow. But Pendragon isn't just about individual duels. It's also about grand-scale battles and sieges.
That's right.
How has the combat system been designed to handle those epic encounters?
Oh, sieges are a whole other level of strategy. Instead of focusing on individual actions, you're thinking about troop movements. Supply lines. Siege weaponry. And even the morale of your forces.
Wow.
You might need to make tough decisions. Like sacrificing a portion of your army to protect a key objective. Or using cunning tactics to undermine the enemy's defenses.
That sounds really intense.
It can be.
I remember reading about sieges in the older editions of Pendragon. And it sounded like it could get pretty complex.
It could.
Has the new D20 system simplified things at all?
I think they've definitely streamlined the mechanics to make them more manageable. But they haven't sacrificed the depth and the strategic possibilities, you
Right.
still have to think like a commander, assess the battlefield,
Right.
and adapt your tactics on the fly.
And remember, this is Pendragon.
Yes.
Chivalry and honor still play a role,
Absolutely.
even in war.
Even in war.
You might have opportunities to negotiate truces,
Yes.
exchange prisoners,
Uh-huh.
or even challenge enemy knights to single combat
Right.
to avoid unnecessary bloodshed.
Exactly.
So even in the midst of a siege,
Yes.
there's room for role-playing
There is.
and for those personal conflicts and dilemmas
Yes.
that make Pendragon so compelling.
That's right. The combat system is designed to enhance the storytelling,
Yeah,
not to overshadow it.
right.
It provides a framework for those epic confrontations, but
Right.
it's ultimately up to the players and the game master
Yeah.
to bring the story to life.
All of this talk about combat and strategy
Yeah.
has me thinking about the visual side of Pendragon again.
Okay.
We touched on it earlier,
We did.
but I want to delve a bit deeper into the arc
Sure.
and the overall presentation of these rule books.
Okay.
What sets them apart visually?
Well, the rule books are absolutely stunning.
Okay.
They've really captured the aesthetic
Mm-hmm.
of medieval manuscripts
Okay.
with beautiful calligraphy,
Mm.
ornate borders,
Right.
and even the texture of
That's-
aged parchment.
Wow.
It's like holding a piece of history in your hands.
That's amazing.
And the illustrations are breathtaking.
Okay.
They've brought the Arthurian world to life
Mm-hmm.
with vibrant colors and incredible detail.
Wow, it sounds like they've gone all out
They have.
to create an immersive experience,
Yes.
not just through the mechanics and
Oh.
the storytelling,
Uh-huh.
but also through the visual presentation.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the rule books.
Yes. It's like they're inviting you to step into a different world,
Mhm.
to lose yourself
Right.
in the legends
Yeah.
and the lore of King Arthur.
And they even include a coat of arms generator,
They do.
allowing players to design
Yeah.
unique heraldry
Uh-huh.
for their knights.
For their knights, it's a small touch,
Right.
but it adds another layer of personalization
Yeah.
and immersion to the game.
Right. You're not just playing a pre-made character.
Exactly.
You're creating a knight with a history,
Yes.
a lineage, and a symbol that represents their values
Right.
and aspirations.
That's right. And speaking of aspirations,
Yeah.
I'm curious, if you were to create a knight in Pendragon 6e,
Mm-hmm.
what kind of character would you envision?
Okay.
What traits and passions
Mm-hmm.
would shape their destiny?
Oh, that's a great question.
Yeah.
There are so many possibilities.
So
There's
many.
so many different paths a knight could take.
Yeah.
You know, in the world of Pendragon.
Absolutely.
I think mine would
Yeah.
be torn between the traits of just
Okay.
and merciful.
Oh.
I imagine them as someone
Okay.
who always strives to do what's right,
Yeah.
to uphold the law, and
Mhm.
protect the innocent,
Okay.
but also someone who understands
Right.
that justice